Hi everyone, and welcome back to our Bridge Learning series produced by Tailor Learning. My name is Julie Din, your customer success agent, and joined with me is my colleague Tim Lambert, our technical customer success manager. Today's hot topic is analytics. Tim's going to demonstrate how to generate, interpret, as well as refine your reportings. As well, we have a wonderful tool called the Matrix Report, and Tim will do a deep dive on that as well. Now, Tim, do you want to take the reins on this?
I will. Thanks, Julie.
Not a problem.
Welcome, everybody, to the next webinar on reporting, and we're really happy to have you all here. We get a lot of feedback from our members on reporting, and so it's really overdue. It's long overdue. And this morning, we're going to sort of pivot the agenda, and I'm going to talk to you first about the Matrix Report. It's a new product that Tailor Learning has developed, and it's mostly because of demand from our customers. So we'd like to thank all those customers who have continually asked for this product over the years. It's long overdue, and here it is. So we'll talk about, before we show you the Matrix Report, we'll talk about the origins of the report, because maybe this is a new concept to some of us, and that's fine. It was originally the product of the National Health System in the United Kingdom. The Matrix Report is basically a simple color-coded amber, green, and red series of colored cells with dates to show who's completed what course, and it gives a really clear picture to the auditors as well. So if there's a surprise unannounced visit, to see who's done what without having to read too much between the lines. So that was the origin of it, and once we got the demand and the requests to produce the report, we set about doing it, and in mid-2025, the first reports came out, and the demand has been picking up ever since, even in Australia now, where just the intuitive look and feel of the report is something that people instantly kind of latch onto.
Yeah.
So a bit of housekeeping before we go into the mechanics of it. If you want this report, you watch to the end and you say, yes, I do need it, you need to request access to the report. Contact Tailor Learning, contact your customer success team, and we'll set you up. That's step one. Step two is really you will run a report in Bridge. It's called the transcript report, and I'm going to show you that in just a moment. You'll run that report, and then the third step is you'll export that report and put it into the matrix, and the matrix will give you all the color and all of the aspects that we talked about earlier, and we'll go through that specifically. So yeah, so let's turn our attention now, having talked about the setup, into the process of kind of reporting, and we'll talk also about the analytics in general, so you get a good idea about what you're dealing with, because the Bridge reports are quite good the way they are before you even get to the analytics. And then once you get it into the really transcript, you're going to have a nice tabular report. And so if you look at the screen here, you'll see a list of users on the far left side, the topic that they're taking, and then you have all kind of details about what that topic is. Is it a course? When they did the course? Is the course overdue? What's the status? And so on and so on. The report continues quite a ways to the left, and you need to scroll to see everything. But the most important stuff is on the left. So that's the preview window, that nice tabular square that we're looking at. And then you also have filters. And the filters are what you see on top. Underneath transcript here, you'll see a series of filters starting with enrollment date to the far left and going over all the way to status on the right. So those filters are really helping you to go on that learning, on that journey to see learning compliance that you need to take. When you start, it's a blank slate, and it returns all of the learning data, probably too much information, but you can filter, and that's what you use those for, to narrow down and get to that information. You need to know how the enrolled nurses are going with their mandatory training. Come to this report, the transcript report, and you can get that information. But you use those filters to really make sure that you're only talking about your enrolled nurses. So perhaps they're in a group, and we have a group filter just for that. Right? So I'm clicking on the group name filter. It pops open a box, and then I can really select a particular group that I'm working with. In this particular case, I can scroll down. I can see different teams, and this is demo data. But you get the idea. You click on one of those groups, and then you click on the button here to reload the report. Anytime you change a filter, the reload button will become gray. So that's a little bit of a hint that you need to refresh to get the new result sets, the more filtered information in. Okay, so that's kind of an overview of how the whole process works with the reports. There's a load button, but the most important thing is really that you go through an iterative process with reports. So reports are rarely done in one click. It's a journey. You go on this journey and you look at the result data, and that tells you if you're on the right track. So in this particular case, we've loaded this report, and we can have a little bit of a look, go on a bit of walkabout to scroll through the information to make sure that Betty and Ace and all those people who are on the team that you're trying to get data on are present in the report. One thing to keep in mind is if someone isn't present on the report, it's likely that they haven't been enrolled. So we'll have topics coming up later on how to do enrollments. So make sure to stay tuned for the next webinar on doing enrollments in Bridge. Great, so we've talked about really how to filter. We've talked about previewing in the report. The other thing we want to talk about is this left-hand nondescript 3 dots up at the top. And that is where you go to do quite a few things. For one, we can download the report. So there's a download option there. And Julie, you've done that many times, have you?
Many times.
Yes, I bet you have.
3 dots download.
Yep. And then there's also a schedule feature too. So let's have a quick review of what the schedule feature does. I've just clicked on the schedule feature, and now I have a box open which allows me to subscribe to this report. I can have a subscription to have this report delivered to my email inbox, and I can tell it what time, what format, as well as other things like filtering. And yeah, here you can see I can put additional recipients in for the email addresses, and it's quite powerful. There's a test button, so you can just see if that email arrives in your inbox and you're getting what you want. And you can test it end to end before you send this email to your boss. You can subscribe your line managers to get these things. They may be too busy, but if you have a central sort of learning admin function and you have someone with the time to do it, by all means, set it up here. Note that if somebody gets one of these subscribed emails and they don't want it, the email includes the option to unsubscribe. So it really is quite foolproof in the sense that for line managers who leave your organization and new people come in, it's easy to set up. It's easy to disconnect from it too as well. So that's the nice schedule delivery feature, and I hope you get some good use out of it. So just going back to the discussion about the menu on the right-hand side, we can also see the reset filters. So if you need to start from scratch, I want to start over again, this isn't what I'm looking for, you can click on that and all the old filter settings will be erased and you can start with a blank slate. While I'm here, one other tip to give you is up in the address bar. So when you're running these reports, you can click up here and you can copy all of that text in that text bar, and you can email it as a link to one of your colleagues.
Fantastic.
Your colleague can get it, yeah, it's great, and they can click on that link, it'll take them to Bridge, and they can look at the exact same report that you're looking at and download it and schedule it as they see fit, so long as they have access. So some nice features are available in the analytics tool. It's quite powerful. And if you find this overwhelming, please don't, because we all had to start learning it ourselves, And while it may seem second nature to us, we took quite a few practices to get where we are. And we're willing to share our time, and we also have some recorded Loom videos. We can spend some time workshopping with your team to make sure that you're getting the data out. You're putting in all of this time to enroll people. You need to know that they're doing their learning.
That's right.
Once we've downloaded our report, really, we need to do some more things before we have the beautiful matrix report. So let me just pivot to the next screen here. So once we set up your team with access to view the matrix report, they're going to get a login for an application called the Altura Learning Content Portal. That's what you're seeing now on the screen. You'll be given a login, and then once you set your password and get into the system, you'll be taken to a report section here. And what you'll do simply is you'll click on an import Bridge CSV file, and you'll drag and drop the file that you've downloaded when you downloaded your transcript report. The only thing you need to worry about is you have to unzip that file and put it into a folder where you can browse to it. So you click on Choose File, and then you just browse to your learner transcript, like so. Click on Open, and then click Import. That's all you have to do.
So easy.
Yeah, very easy. And you'll get an email too, Julie, which will tell you that you have the report. The report's been generated. As well, you'll have a place where you can export it and download that report. So I've done that already just to save us time, and I'll flip over to the actual Excel spreadsheet.
Oh.
This is cool, actually, if cool is your idea of looking at an Excel spreadsheet.
I think it's cool.
I do too, actually. So what we have here is a slightly different kind of report orientation than the analytics transcript dashboard, because whilst we have the learners on the left-hand side, as we did in the same report, in the counterpart report in Bridge rather, we now have the courses as columns being presented from left to right. So if you can see on the top here, there's a guide to safe food handling and other courses. The very topmost column gives you the title of the course. And bear in mind, with our long Altura Learning titles, you may have to widen your columns a little bit to see everything. So with the matrix report, what we alluded to before is really visible is the color, right? So we can see at a glance whether your team is compliant. And so each topic lines up with a color under it. And if you look to the far left for a learner, we'll take Ace Apple as an example, we can see that he's completed his learning on the 18th of the 11th last month, this year, 2025. For an auditor, this really speeds up their process and helps them to make sure to give you the tick, assuming you do have compliant learners and your matrix report is giving you a good story to tell. So you see this sort of color banding, or they call it traffic light is the other kind of terminology, to indicate how our learners are going. And you can see overall compliance on the left-hand side for each given learner. So we can see Ace is only 50% and he's color-coded red. So probably to the right there are a few courses that he's overdue on. Let's turn our attention to the yellow cells. These are not specifically at risk yet, but they're in progress learning. So they're color-coded that way because the course isn't complete, but it's been started by the learner. So when you see that yellow color and you see it's in a reasonable date time frame, then you're okay. So in this particular course case with Adrian, we see that it's 2026-02-19. So it's due next year, which is okay. On the other hand, for another learner, Brendan Sass, we can see that his learning was due on the 18th of September. So he is overdue, and that's why his color is red.
Brendan needs to get on it.
He does. So I hope that's given you a good preview of the matrix report. We've really enjoyed having you along on this webinar, and we hope that you have lots of questions. So please call in and give us your feedback on what you think. And if you want the report, obviously give us a call as well. Thanks again, everybody, for their time. Thanks, Julie, for being on the webinar. And we really just want to open up the doors to you for reporting. Any questions on analytics or anything related to Bridge, or our content for that matter, please feel free to reach out. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
We'll see you next time.